Hey everyone, how's it going? Andy here. Just thought I'd put together this quick little behind the scenes video to introduce you to one of the features that we're working on for the upcoming Gyrus NFT drop. So this is an attribute system that we've designed or we're designing that's going to be, these attributes are going to be assigned to your NFT. So I thought I'd just go through how we've designed that, how it's going to work. Might answer a few questions people had about some of the more details about the drop. So this is one. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm just going to take you through this little spreadsheet that I've used to sketch this out before we hand this off to our blockchain developer to implement. So this sort of works a little bit like you'd be used to for an attribute system in any sort of RPG style game. Excuse me. So we'll go through these from left to right, and hopefully this sheds a bit of light on this system. So you can see here the attributes names on the left. So we've got strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, charisma, resilience. There's a little bit of a rundown on what each one means. Basically what we've done to start with is decided for the genus, for the Bura, what the minimum and maximum of each of these attributes is going to be. So one of the I guess principles of the Gyrus metaverse is going to be this asymmetry between the genuses. So it's not like you can just get one genus and it could sort of cover the whole gamut of abilities throughout the world. You've sort of got to work together and play off each other's strengths. So this list of 6 attributes, some of these might be shared with other genuses, some of them might be completely different, and it's not necessarily the case that each genus is going to be able to, I guess, leverage each of these attributes. So it's all going to be about social interaction, working with other genuses and other subclasses within that genus to sort of make things happen in the Gyrus metaverse. So after we assign a minimum maximum to each of these attributes, that kind of gives us a maximum amount for all the attributes. So that's just the sum of all the maximums and then the sum of all their ranges. So where that's important is if we go to the next tab here on classes. So here we've taken the Bura and looked at the different classes and assigned those attributes per class. So each of these classes now has a maximum and a range. And as you see, to achieve balance between all the different classes, we've ended up with we've taken those values that we sort of tuned on the previous spreadsheet. So this sort of ensures that even though some of the classes have got more of one attribute than the other, that we sort of get some balance across the genus. And then down the bottom here, sort of tracking what the average is. So that's just the average across the entire genus. So say for resilience, your average with the 5 different Bura subclasses is 85. And the average range is 39. So that's the maximum, and the range. So the maximum minus the range is basically your minimum. So hopefully that makes sense. How this all wraps together, this tab down the bottom here called Designer Bura. So here you can see for the genus, so we can pick any of the genuses. Geni, is Geni a word? I don't know, it is now. Let's go with the Bura A, the healer. So you can see here what their maximum is. So the healer has a high amount of wisdom. So 100 doesn't mean that one of the other genuses, like say the Mara, for example, could have more than 100. It's not a zero. It's not a percentage. It's just a score. So yeah, they have a high amount of wisdom, high amount of resilience, and then basically this modifier here is just a number. This is the actual number that's going to drive the attribute for this particular class. So basically this modifier can go from between plus and minus 1. 0 is the midpoint, right in the middle of the range, and then minus 1 is the very bottom of the range, plus 1 is the very top of the range for that class. So essentially during the drop, what you're really getting assigned is a modifier, and then based on the attribute ranges for that class, it's going to give you a value. It's sort of the output. The value is just an output of this algorithm. So what this means is down the bottom here, there's this this concept of a rating. So the rating is a way to basically score how good this Bura is within its class. So 0 is it's a 0 to 5 rating. It's like a 5-star rating if you want to imagine it that way. So here everything's at 0, so your rating is 2.5. So if we pick a different subclass, let's go with the Bura, the warrior. So all their stats change. So the warrior strength's almost at that 100 level, but the rating is still 2.5. It's still saying that you're right bang smack in the middle of the attributes for that genus. And then, so I guess to demonstrate, if we go along and max this one out, now the values of all these attributes are equal to the maximum, and you get a rating of 5. If you go and stick -1 in all these, then you get a rating of 0. Your Bura is a dunce. So that's one way we can go through. We can assign these by hand. So for a particular, there's a few very particular like rare drops that only occur once or a small handful of times. We might go through and say, look, we'll assign those specific attributes that fit with that character. Obviously, we're not going to do that for thousands of Bura. So if you look at the next one, I've got this Rollerboard Tab. So this is what we went through to sort of figure out a way to randomly assign these attributes, but then also achieve some level of balance so you don't accidentally randomly just get some piece of shit with a rating of 0.5. So how this works, we'll pick another one. Let's go with the Buramuri, the hunter. I can hit this reroll button. It's basically just grabbing a random number between -1 and 1 here, and then pumping out what the value of the attributes are. And so if we just hit reroll here, you'll see this rating. So again, that's kind of like your average. How good is your Bura? And this is kind of jumping around fairly wildly. So there's a 1.7 there, 3. If you press this enough times, obviously it's generating 6 random numbers. But if you do this enough times, you'll get a few that are pretty rubbish and a few that are awesome. It's great if you get an awesome one, not so great if you get a rating of less than 1. So what we can do is change this balance factor. So the balance factor is another 0 to 1. So if we go with 1, you'll notice here that this reroll sort of doesn't do anything. All these modifiers are stuck at 0, and your rating comes out at, well, should be 2.5, but there's a bit of a rounding error here. These are rounded to the nearest whole number, so it's essentially right in the middle there. Balance factor of 0 is completely random. So if we want to tune a group of Bura, we'll say, all right, let's give them a balance of, say, 0.5. That means this rating is going to move around either side of that 2.5 midpoint, but not by a wild amount. So you won't get any real slick 5-star Buras, but you won't get any shithouse 0-star ones either. And that's basically how it's going to work. We've just used this to sort of sketch out the idea. This is going to go to our blockchain dev and be integrated into the NFT drop, and give you your Buras and your Gyrus NFTs a little bit more flavor. That you can sort of look at their attributes and their ratings, and then further down the line, that'll integrate with sort of gamification and metaverse side of things. So yeah, let us know what you think. Give us your feedback, as with everything. Gyrus, it's always great to hear what the community thinks. And if you dig this little explainer video, it's the first one I've done. Hopefully it all made sense. Let me know. Be happy to make some more as the project progresses. Peace.